Howdy do, friends, and welcome back to the ranch. Good to have you here today. Hope you guys are doing all right. Once again, thank you so much for taking a little time out of your busy day to stop by here for a visit. I really appreciate it. Good to have you here. Anyway, let's see what's been going on around here. Weather would take the #1 spot for that question, and it probably would through most of the United States. As an ice storm came through here, we were enjoying pretty much spring-like weather in late January. Highs were in the mid-70s almost every day. It was really nice. And then all of a sudden the bottom fell out, and we had about a 3 or 4 day stretch where it was kind of between that 28 and 31 degree thing, and it's quite tolerable, except Texas just does not do well with icy weather, and it started raining in the middle of that, so we had us a pretty good ice storm. And like I said, I know a lot of you folks were also affected by the storm, a lot more severely than we were, so I hope everything's good where you guys are. One positive thing the storm did, though, is it created a lot of opportunity for people who are into photography and people who are into videography. Case in point, here's a little 3-video montage that one of my game cameras took. And this game camera was never moved. The location is in exactly the same place. The only thing that changed was the weather. So we started out here on day 1 with the regular deer enjoying a regular day. Here we are on day 2 with a regular deer, but the junipers have started to fall, obscuring part of the image. And on day 3, it turned into a winter wonderland. And like my wife said, it looked a whole lot more like Christmas than it did Groundhog Day. But like I said, it was a great time for shooting photographs and videos. And I've got more really cool videos for you right after this message from our sponsor, HelloFresh. Well, folks, have you ever had a Saturday that started out like this at 10 o'clock in the morning? And then you had to be back again at 3:30 in the afternoon? And then you had to be back again at 6 o'clock at night? And once all the games were done, the last thing anybody wanted to do was go to a restaurant or go to a grocery store or go home and try to figure out what to eat. Well, friends, that's where HelloFresh shines. All you have to do is get HelloFresh and skip that extra trip to the grocery store and the long checkout lines. Spend more times doing things you love, like this. Looking for an easy way to eat well and save money? Cut back on expensive takeout and delivery and get started with HelloFresh. You'll love how fast, easy, and affordable it is to whip up restaurant quality meals right in your own kitchen with delicious meals that are ready quicker than delivery. Just like my very favorite Santa Fe pork tacos, which takes me less than 20 minutes to make. You can customize select meal by swapping proteins or sides, even adding protein to a veggie dish. And now you can even upgrade for organic chicken or organic ground beef. You'll only find quality ingredients in HelloFresh's recipes. In fact, ingredients travel from the farm to your home in less than 7 days, even out here on the ranch. So you know they're fresh. So go to HelloFresh.com and use the code DrLee65 for 65% off plus free shipping. Once again, go to HelloFresh.com and use the code DrLee65 for 65% off plus free shipping. Get on board with HelloFresh like my wife and I. You will be glad you did. So will your grandkids. And once again, we'd like to thank HelloFresh for kindly sponsoring this video. And like I said, the ice storm created a lot of havoc across the United States, but it also created a lot of video opportunities. I took full advantage of it. Fortunately, our temperatures were usually between 28, 29, and 31 for a few days, and it was no big problem until we started getting the freezing rain. Most of this video was taken in the morning of the day. Everything started to melt later that afternoon. So it was a nice day to get out and walk and shoot a few videos. And our old buddy Rip really enjoyed his day out on the ranch too. Many of you have asked over the last few videos down in the comment section what's going on back here over my south boundary. where the new subdivision with hundreds of houses is going in. And I guess to answer your question, the construction or destruction, depending on your viewpoint, is either progressing or regressing at breakneck speed. It is shocking, all the changes that are going in over there. I'll try to get you some new video out soon, some drone video, so that you can see exactly what it is. Like I said, it's quite shocking, but nevertheless, I appreciate your concern. And yeah, you know, a lot of y'all are angry at it and frustrated with it, as you know, we are too. But one of our old buddies on this channel, a subscriber and a brother of you all, Hap Newsom, told me one time, I guess I was frustrated with something and he was trying to help me deal with it. And he said his grandfather, who was a pastor, used to tell him, you know, when someone aggravates you like that, he said, you know, you don't get mad. He said, pray for him. And I thought, well, that's kind of what we're supposed to do. And, you know, Hap said, you know, that's what he thought too. That's what we're supposed to do. And then Hap said that he asked his grandfather, he said, well, how do you pray for him? And his grandfather, again, a pastor, said, I just ask God to bless them with an itch they can't reach. So, Brother Hap, this following video is for you, brother. I hope you like that, Hap. Thanks for the idea. Well, folks, a lot of you have also been asking about the drought that we've been experiencing around here. As you know from previous videos, that I was going to restore a lot of abandoned water troughs and watering facilities on the ranch that haven't been used in years. And just about the time I started getting into renovating them, well, it started raining on us, and we've definitely not had enough rain to overcome the deficits that we have around here. But just like you can see, here's what the creek looked like back in the worst part of the drought. This view right here is to the south. This view right here is to the north. And here's what it looks like today. Here's a view to the south, and here's a view back to the north. And previously, everything had dried up except one area of the creek where it was dammed up. And unfortunately with that is the mud that was at the water's edge was just like quicksand, and the animals could not get to the water without sinking up to their bellies in the mud. So fortunately now we do have fresh water in areas where the wildlife can readily access it. And I guess this is turning into a catch-up video. A lot of you had asked about the Blazer 2, the old car that I brought home, that I bought from my neighbor that I tried to buy for the last 20 years, and they wouldn't sell it, and they finally sold it to me. And I got it home, and it had been sitting out in the rain without a roof on it, as most of you know that have seen that video. But nevertheless, first problem, number one, is it wouldn't roll. Matt and I tore 2 tires off the wheels, dragging the thing out of the hole it was in. When I got the tires off the wheels, I realized that the inside of the wheels had rusted so bad it wouldn't seal along the beads. So I had to take a grinder and grind that down. And my buddy Tom gave me a couple of tires to replace that. So we got tires that will hold air on the Blazer so we could roll it around. Next thing I had to do with it is clear up all this wiring under the dash before I even hooked a battery up to it, because I had a strong feeling the thing would catch on fire. But got that all cleaned up, and as you can see here, it is all cleaned up right here. And so I hooked a battery up to it, and man, it was dead as a doornail. Bought a new ignition switch, put it in there, everything, it was still dead. No power anywhere. So I figured out, I had a bad feeling that all these leaves that are stuck down in this cowl panel were going to be the culprit of the majority of the Blazer's problems, and sure enough they were. The leaves have been in there for 20 years. Every time it rained, the leaves would rot and hold water, and when they did, it rusted out the cow panel, and water had been running down through the holes that the rust had created and totally ruined the fuse box. And that's why we didn't have any power anywhere in the vehicle. A little bit better. The handle of this little broom is now down inside the cab. Can you see that hole there? So I bought a completely new wiring harness because you can't really repair a fuse box. And I'm waiting to put it in. I'm gonna have to pull the hood and the two front fenders off the truck and order these two parts right here, and then either splice them in or cut them up and make patches out of them so we can keep rainwater from running down the fuse box and onto our feet. And here's the new wiring harness right here. It's got about 2 million miles of wires here, and the instruction manual says the instruction manual claims it's easy to read and simple. However, there are 102 pages, so this may take a while. Okay, I think that takes care of the Q&A part of this video. Thank you so much for using the comment section, and I encourage you and hope that you will use it and use it frequently. A lot of people put down their problems down there, so it would be nice if all of us could read through there and give our brothers and sisters support here, because a lot of people are having a really, really rough time. It's a hard time of life. I hear that every day. But anyway, back to what's going on the ranch. We are seeing a lot of pregnant deer. I mean, a lot of pregnant deer, and it's just a little bit early to be seeing them. So I think we're going to have a really, really good fawn crop, and really looking forward to that. The deer, their gestation's about 200 days, so probably right around tax time, a little bit before we start seeing a lot of babies hitting the ground. The downside to that is when we see a lot of deer and a lot of babies, we wind up seeing a lot of these guys, because their favorite treat are baby fawns. And not only are we seeing a lot of these guys, we are hearing a lot of these guys too. Hearing a lot of other stuff too. But nevertheless, we may have to go through and start thinning down the herds. And you know, the most frustrating part of all of this is, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have such an imbalance in the wildlife here on this ranch. Growth pains. And also, every night the game cameras are not only picking up the coyotes, they're picking up the white-tailed bucks. And those bucks are fighting every night, more so than they did before the rut. Don't really understand that, but there's a MMA match every night on the game cameras, and a few of them are not looking too good after these fights. They've kind of lost some of their wares, but keep seeing this one little guy with his antler sticking, one antler sticking up, one antler sticking up, one antler sticking down, and he's pretty easy to see. And then we got a lot of unicorns as well. I was looking at this one unicorn and just thinking, dude, if you wouldn't fight, you wouldn't have to worry about that. You'd save some of your protection. But then I got to realizing that he's got a lot of atrophy in his left shoulder, and more than likely this little dude got hit by a car. Probably very lucky to be alive, but he can't hardly use that left front leg, and his left antler is definitely gone, so he's a pretty lucky little guy to still be around. Well, folks, that's about it from out here on the ranch today. Once again, thank you so much for being here today. You know it means a lot to me. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come stay for a little visit with us here. Once again, if you have anything in your life that's causing problems and you need some support on, please put it down in the comment section. And for all the rest of you, if you would, just read through the comment section and do what you can to help out your brothers and sisters here, because a lot of people are having some really, really hard times right now. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Once again, good to have you, and I thank you so much for stopping by. God bless you all. I look forward to seeing you next time, and as you all know, I want you to always remember I love you. Bye-bye now. So what you doing there, Al?
Neutering a dog, Dad.
All right. Who's going to learn you?
That's a mistake.